Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. I'm sure this is not news to most of you. In fact, you've probably been watching uh, multiple videos about this, but I wanted to do a video on the news that Fanatics has won the Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball Players Association licensing agreements once the agreements expire with Topps, meaning that for all intents and purposes, maybe that Topps will no longer be making baseball cards. So I didn't do a video right after the news broke. I wanted to give myself some time to try to process everything, put some thoughts together. I think I have more questions than there are answers. Obviously, this is really new in the process. It's been a week, less than a week old now, since the news broke. But just want to give my thoughts, some of the questions that I have, some things that I don't quite understand that maybe you can help me out in the comments if you can understand some of these things better than I can. So the first thing is I read information on the agreement and the agreements. And my understanding is that Topps has the Major League Baseball Players Association license through 2022 and has the Major League Baseball license through 2025. What's also maybe lost in this discussion or the news, the press releases, is that Panini's license with the Major League Baseball Players Association also runs out in 2022. Now, the way I understand how the two different licenses go is that the reason why Panini can make baseball cards is that they have a license agreement with the Major League Baseball Players Association. So they can make cards with current players' images, likenesses, names, but they just can't use team names and team logos on their cards because they don't have a Major League Baseball license. Topps can do both because they currently have both licenses. The thing that I just can't wrap my head around is Topps says, I think they made some announcement that they anticipate producing baseball cards through 2025. Well, if you need a Players Association license to show current players and their names on cards, Topps is going to lose that after 2022. But they would have the ability to use team names, team logos, Major League Baseball stadiums, things like that through 2025. So I'm wondering, how can a card company produce a baseball card where they can use a team logo, a team name, but not the player, the image of a player? That's what I'm confused about. So I don't know. Do they? I'm not sure how you can have a baseball card without the picture of a baseball player. So if you can explain to me the difference, because if the Major League Baseball license gives a company the ability to create a card with a team logo, a team name, and a current player's image and their name, then what's the point of the Players Association license? That I still can't quite understand. So that's one point. But again, I mentioned Panini. What's also lost in here is that Fanatics has also come to an agreement with the NBA Players Association and the NFL Players Association. I think Panini's NBA Players Association contract runs through, or agreement runs through 2025, and for the NFL, it runs through 2026. I think I heard that the NBA has also agreed to go with Fanatics. I couldn't quite tell how long the Panini agreement with the NBA was, but I'm assuming it's the same length as the Players Association. So how I read that is after 2025, not only will Panini not be able to make baseball cards, they won't be able to make NBA cards, basketball cards. Same goes with NFL. After 2026, Panini's going to lose the Players Association license, and I think Fanatics is in talk with the NFL for the football license. So Topps could go by the wayside after 2025. Panini could go by the wayside between 2025 after 2025 and 2026. So after that point, Fanatics would then be this exclusive producer of baseball, football, and basketball cards. What's also lost in this is that Upper Deck, I believe, is the only one who has a license with the NHL and the NHL Players Association. So it would not surprise me at all if Fanatics tries to go after the NHL license to get all four major sports. So again, lots can change between now and 2025, 2026. But that's just in terms of the licensing. So digging a little bit deeper, my thoughts go to the actual brand names of the cards. So you have the Topps name. You have Bowman Chrome, Heritage, Triple Threads, Tribute, Dynasty, Allen and Ginter, Stadium Club, all the different set names that Topps has produced. Well, even though Topps may lose those, or is going to lose those Major League Baseball licenses, they still own the trademark or copyright, not sure which one it is, of those names. So my understanding is when Fanatics starts making baseball cards, they can't come out with a Topps Chrome set or maybe even a Fanatics Chrome or Fanatics Allen and Ginter, because that is still property owned by Topps. Of course, there's been talk and speculation that now that Topps is not going to go public because of the news of them losing their baseball license, that's been pulled. I think it was announced Friday. The news that Fanatics won the licenses was, I think, Thursday. And then by Friday, Topps announced that their planned IPO or going public was going to be canceled. So there's been talk that Fanatics, who's I think someone said 14 times bigger than Topps, which is why they could throw a lot more money to get the license, they may just buy Topps. They just may make an offer to buy Topps and absorb them in. They'd have the trademarks, copyright, names. They'd have the production facilities to produce the cards, because right now my understanding is Fanatics is forming a brand new company to make baseball cards, and I guess maybe basketball and even maybe football cards. So rather than build up all that manufacturing capacity, they may just say, hey, Topps, we want to buy you out. At a minimum, they may just offer a ton of money to Topps for those copyrighted names. So in theory, there could be a Bowman Chrome release in 2026, and the only difference would be when you turn the card over, it'll say Bowman Chrome trademark of Fanatics or some legalese like that. And there could continue to be Bowman Chrome products produced for many, many years. Same thing goes with Panini. All right. They have Panini Prism, which is, right now the big set in basketball and football, Panini Prism. Same thing. Now, my understanding is Topps has been valued, well, when they were about to go public, maybe around 1.3 billion. I think Panini's valued, I looked it up, I want to say 3 billion. I think Fanatics has been valued at 18 billion. So maybe they'll make a play for Panini as well, or at least their copyrighted or trademark names. So you could see Prism cards continue to be made under Fanatics. Time will tell. Same thing with Upper Deck. I mean, again, if they get the licenses for NHL, they may try to buy out Upper Deck or their trademarks and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see in the next 4 years what Fanatics does beyond just getting the licenses. Will they actually try to acquire intellectual property, the trademarks, copyrighted material? Will they try to actually go after brick and mortar assets and the actual production, manufacturing of the cards? Now, I don't know, maybe some of these card companies, farm out their production to other third-party printers. So maybe that wouldn't be an issue for Fanatics in terms of buying, brick and mortar assets. The other thing that I was thinking of is there's another card company out there that makes baseball cards. Now, you pure collectors out there may not consider them baseball cards. I do, just from the standpoint of being a Boggs collector. But that's Leaf Trading Card Company. Now, they make, quote-unquote, baseball cards. But if you notice, I believe the only cards they produce are of retired major leaguers, no current baseball players, because they do not have any license whatsoever. But I believe either through agents, individual players, other group associations or something, have licensing agreements to use either the name, an image, or something of retired major leaguers. Will Topps, will Panini try to go that route and say, okay, well, we're not going to sell our name brands to Fanatics. Yeah, we're going to lose our license, but we're still going to create a product. We're going to sign former major leaguers to a licensing agreement, maybe not exclusive if they're already signed with Leaf, and try to come out with a line of essentially like vintage cards of former major leaguers, Hall of Famers, you name it, and get around the fact that they can't use current players, but maybe try to find a niche for themselves using retired baseball players. Who knows? So I don't know. Leaf may continue to do its thing and say, hey, you guys fight over all this stuff. We'll create these small run products with former major leaguers, and I think other sports as well that they use. And I think they're all retired. So we'll continue to make that, and you guys can fight over all this other stuff. And maybe Topps and Panini may decide to join that niche market. Who knows? The other thing is that if Fanatics does not purchase any manufacturing capabilities from Topps or Panini, even if they do contract out with a third party for the manufacturer of the cards, question is, their first couple years, how's the quality of their card going to be? Are there going to be errors? When Donruss and Flair started off in 1981, their card production, the quality just wasn't there. There were multiple errors that they had to fix and multiple variations in the 81 and maybe even 82 Donruss and Flair sets, because they hadn't done it before. And Fanatics has not produced a single baseball card ever. So this is going to be new for them. So it's going to be interesting to see quality control if Fanatics doesn't acquire or work with maybe a third party that, say, had been contracted with Topps. Maybe they'll just say, hey, you were making cards for Topps, make cards for us, and the production and the quality and quality control will still be there. But that's another unknown, in terms of their design. Where are they going to go with the design? Are they going to go, really extreme, come up with new concepts of refractors and shininess and all this other stuff? Or are they going to have a mixture like Topps does with the heritage and archives? Are they going to concentrate on more high-end products? Are they going to have a mixture? Are they going to try to produce some low price point products for kids or set builders? So it'll be interesting to see the types of products that come out under Fanatics, whether it's under their own brand names or other names that they pick up from Topps or Panini. Distribution has been another question I've seen raised by other YouTubers. Are they going to be cutting out card shops? Is there going to be a retail product? Is the retail product going to strictly be through Fanatics' website? Are they going to sign an agreement with Walmart or Target or Walgreens? That's another unknown, the distribution. Who's going to get the product? Are they going to carve out a large portion to breakers? All that is again unknown at this point. There's time for them to work it out. But I wonder if they're going to get any feedback from the industry, from collectors, whether it be pure collectors, flippers, investors, you name it, and how they want the cards to be distributed, and where would they ultimately get to for us as consumers. Can we go to Walmart and buy product? Can we go to our local card shop and buy product? Do we just have to go to the website and hope bots don't buy up all the product after the release? Lots of unknowns right there, and we'll just have to wait and see how that all shakes out. The next is I've heard questions raised of, well, how is this going to affect prices for Topps' current products, or again, even Panini's products, after they lose their license and they quote unquote go away? I honestly don't think there's going to be any change in prices. I mean, when Upper Deck lost its Major League Baseball license, you didn't necessarily see the price or the value of an 89 Upper Deck Griffey rookie card go up in value suddenly because Upper Deck no longer was making new baseball cards. That has nothing to do with the value of an 89 Griffey rookie. It just means that there was no 2000 Upper Deck or whenever they lost their baseball license. So I don't think it's going to affect any cards, maybe even in the future, these next few years that Topps produces baseball cards, or the ones that they've already produced, just because at some point in time, Topps as we know it is not going to be making any baseball cards. So I don't think there's going to be any effect in prices there. Now, maybe if when we get closer to, if it is 2025, the Topps can still produce normal looking baseball cards, that maybe that final year of a traditional Topps product, maybe the complete set or certain special cards that Topps may do something special for their last year as a grand finale or something, I don't know. maybe those would have some special value, a sentimental value of, hey, this is the last Topps set ever made. Maybe. But other than that, I don't see that, Fleer cards are not worth any more or less because Fleer went bankrupt. Same with Donruss. Again, same with Upper Deck. Same thing, unfortunately, would be, I think, with Topps. At some point in time, it's going to be Fanatics or whatever brand Fanatics is able to use, and that's the current card, and that's what you buy. And 20 years from now, we reminisce of, hey, I miss Topps. I wish Topps could come back or whatever. And you still maybe enjoy the Topps cards that you have in your collection, but they may not be worth any more or less just because it has a Topps name to it. Finally, how is all of this going to affect me personally in my collecting? And I think I quickly came to the realization that really it's not going to affect it at all. With one potential exception. That is, right now, both Panini and Topps, in some of their products, newer products, have included veteran players in their sets, meaning they've made Wade Boggs cards. Now, Boggs hasn't been featured in every set made by Topps. Their flagship set, unless it's a short print image variation, it's all current players. But you have Heritage, you have Archives, you have other products where, Triple Threads Tribute, they tend to include some veteran players. So unless when Fanatics takes over, if they say, hey, all we're doing are current players, we have no intention to put any veteran players in our products, and Topps Panini doesn't try to go the way of Leaf. Leaf may be the only company out there that would produce any type of quote-unquote Boggs baseball card. So it may limit or reduce or potentially, again, other than Leaf, end the number of new Wade Boggs cards that get produced. So there could be at some point a finite number of Boggs cards that have been made. Would that be crushing to me? No, because I still have some that have been made in the past that I still don't have that I could go after. So even in terms of my Boggs collection, I'm not too worried about future products and Boggs cards being released in those products, because there's still other cards that have already been produced that I still don't have that I could go after and still build my Wade Boggs collection. The other thing I thought about that is not really going to affect me is, for the rest of my life, or as long as I'm collecting, I will still be able to buy Topps cards, Topps baseball cards. I will always be able to buy a Topps baseball card because I'm collecting vintage. This 1955 Topps Hank Aaron, it's always going to be out there for someone to buy. So my vintage collection of Topps cards of Hall of Famers, this is not going to end with Fanatics taking over the licensing from Topps. So will that necessarily change the vintage market? I don't think so. I mean, if you either like vintage or you like modern cards, or in some cases, a mixture of both. But I don't think people are suddenly going to say, well, I'm not going to collect modern cards anymore because Topps has gone away and I don't like Fanatics or whatever. And suddenly they're going to just go all into vintage, and then there's going to be a flood of interest in vintage, prices going up and all that stuff. I don't see that. I see collectors have a niche, and I think they'll continue to have the niche that they're in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however long they're collecting. But for me, who are into vintage cards, Topps cards will live on forever. So those are my main thoughts. I don't think there's anything new or groundbreaking in my thoughts necessarily. I'm sure others have similar opinions. But again, would love to get your comments on what you think the effect to the hobby is going to be with this news. What do you think, not only for Topps, about Panini? Do you think Upper Deck is also on the chopping block in the future? What do you think of the future of Topps? Do you think Topps or Panini or Upper Deck or all three are going to get actually acquired by Fanatics? Do you think they're going to hang around, try to do some of their own type of product with veteran players like Leaf does? Would love your thoughts. And again, if you can explain to me the difference between the MLB license and the Players Association license and how Topps can make a normal trading card past 2022, please let me know. I truly would appreciate you pointing me in the right direction, or an article or some other place where I can look it up and find out the information. So that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, would really appreciate a thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.